Hello and welcome friends to my show Interesting Facts. Today, let me tell you about the forgotten tragedy of SS Tilawa. On 20th November 1942 at 1700 hours, SS Tilawa set sail for the continent of Africa, that is Mombassa, Maputo and Durban. She departed from the Ballard Pier, Mumbai with 222 crew members, 732 passengers and 4 gunners. There were 9 lifeboats and over 6,000 tons of cargo, including 60 tons of silver bullion. In the middle of the Indian Ocean, 930 miles northeast of Seychelles, on November 23rd, the Japanese Imperial Navy fired 2 torpedoes and sunk Tilawa. HMS Birmingham and S.S. Carthage rescued some 678 people from the ship. Though it's been over 8 decades, the question remains as to why did the Japanese attack a passenger cargo liner. It is believed this was the only passenger cargo liner attacked in the Indian Ocean during the World War II. Did the Japanese know about the precious cargo on board? Was SS Tilawa a military threat and did it contribute to the war effort? Why did the British and Indian governments authorize a merchant ship to carry passengers? Why did SS Tilawa not have an escort or have its route patrolled for enemy attack? What happened between the first and the second torpedo? Is there anything in particular the captain of SS Tilawa or the commander of the I-29 Japanese submarine said, or was that the key factor in this particular incident? Were the lifeboats and the rafts on SS Tilawa adequate? Could more lives have been rescued? Does the recent discovery of the wreck site reveal material information? Are there any classified documents that could provide further insights? Are victims of the tragedy entitled to compensation? If so, who is responsible for this? Could this tragedy have been prevented? Since the SS Tilawa was carrying some 60 tons of silver bullion, the subject of which is now an international dispute between the salvagers and the South African government. Despite the setting of international waters in a multinational war, what exactly led to the Japanese submarine I-29 commander to order not 1 but 2 torpedoes to be launched at the Tilawa? In order to bring back the memories of this incident, and with the support of the Maritime Mumbai Museum Society MMMS, a first ever commemoration ceremony was held to officially acknowledge the tragedy and memorize the loss of 280 lives on November 23, 2022. The event was held at the Grand Hotel in Ballard Estate, South Mumbai on its 80th anniversary. The Ballard Estate was the perfect location for this historic occasion since SS Tilawa sailed last from the vicinities of Ballard Pier only on November 20, 1942, and the lucky 678 survivors were also brought back here only on November 27. The ship Tilawa was a British India Steam Navigation Company passenger ship commissioned in 1924 that transported passengers, mail and cargo between various ports in India and East Africa. On November 23, 1942, she was sunk by a Japanese submarine in the Indian Ocean with a high loss of life. The 10,006 GRT, that is gross registered tonnage steamship Tilawa, was built at the Hawthorne, Leslie and Company shipyard in English town of Hebburn on the Tyne and was launched on February 20, 1924. Lady Elsie Mackay, 1893 to 1928, one of the first female pilots who had previously been known as an actress under the stage name Poppy Wyndham, christened the ship. She was the daughter of James Mackay, 1st Earl of Inchcape, who had been the chairman of the British India Steam Navigation Company since 1913. On May 20, 1924, the ship was completed. The passenger and cargo steamer was 137.5 meters long and 18.1 meters wide. The steam engines operated on a single screw and enabled a cruising speed of 12 knots, that is 22.2 kilometers per hour. The passenger accommodations were designed for a total of 3,290 travelers, 60 in first, 74 in second, and 3,156 passengers in the third class. The British India Steam Navigation Company (BISN), founded in 1856, specialized in the transport of passengers, cargo, and mail between various ports in the Middle and Far East, such as Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras in India, and Rangoon in Burma, which is today's Myanmar. However, the shipping company also maintained routes to Australia, Singapore, and the Gulf of Aden. On Monday, November 23, 1942, the Tilawa was sunk in the Indian Ocean by the Japanese submarine I-29. I-29 was an Imperial Japanese Navy submarine codenamed Matsu. This 108.5 meter long B-1 class submarine was completed on February 27, 1942 and assigned to the 14th U-boat Squadron. It was armed with 17 torpedoes. I-29 was capable of 23 knots, that is 42.6 kilometers per hour over water, and still 8 knots, that is 14.8 kilometers per hour underwater. The submarine left Penang on November 11 under the command of Captain Teraoka Masao to attack enemy shipping lines in the Indian Ocean. The Tilawa was en route from Bombay to Mombassa, Kenya, and Durban, South Africa, with 958 people and 6,472 tons of cargo on board under the command of Captain F. Robertson. On board were 222 crew members, 4 artillerymen to defend the ship, and 732 passengers. 1,497 kilometers northeast of Seychelles, I-29 fired a torpedo at a passenger liner, the explosion of which caused great panic among the passengers, after which they rushed to the lifeboats. When the ship did not sink after being torpedoed, some passengers and crew members tried to get back on board. I-29 then torpedoed the Tilawa again, which finally sank. 28 crew members and 252 passengers died as a result of the sinking. The light cruiser Birmingham of the Royal Navy and the passenger ship Carthage of the British Shipping Company (P&O) picked up the survivors. So friends, that's all we have for today. Goodbye and see you soon in my next program.